The AFK farming software, I became invincible without knowing it. Chapter 401, Breakthrough Again, Mid-Stage Upper World Immortal King, Ultimate Land, AFK farming software upgrade, Unifying the 9 provinces domain. My current cultivation level is already the limit of the early stage Immortal King realm. I'm only half a step away from the mid-stage Immortal King realm. I'm almost within reach. I only need to settle down for a period of time before I can break through. A smile appeared on Qiming's face. He was very satisfied with his gains this time. After Qiming fused and absorbed a Dao validation Dao fruit, his improvement was relatively obvious, saving him countless years of bitter cultivation. At this moment, figures broke through and stood behind Qiming. They were the branch masters of the Primordial Demon Sect and the Sect Master, Qing Feiyun. When Qiming was in seclusion to cultivate and fuse the Dao validation Dao fruit, Qing Feiyun and the others had already arrived. However, when they saw him cultivating, they naturally did not dare to disturb him. The world's freedom Buddha, Fang Ru, and the others were also guarding Qiming. No one dared to rashly approach and would be killed by Qiming's immortal pets. You're here. Qiming opened his eyes and sensed Qing Feiyun and the others. He turned around and clasped his hands behind his back. How's the current situation in the 9 provinces domain? Junior brother Qiming. Qing Feiyun said bluntly, the epic calamity is already approaching the end. The 9 provinces Immortal Dynasty, the Myriad Race Alliance, and the Dao Sect Alliance have basically all been defeated. The remaining factions of all sizes are not worth worrying about. That's right. Our Primordial Demon Sect has already won. Ha ha ha. This was all done by Branch Master Qiming. He relied on his own strength to kill 2 cultivators in succession. Even the 9 provinces Immortal Emperor was not his match. Yes, yes. It's precisely because Branch Master Qiming is powerful that we relied on the power created by Branch Master Qiming to be invincible and defeat all our enemies in succession. Branch Master Qiming, what should we do next? Branch Master Qiming, please enlighten us. The Branch Masters of the Primordial Demon Sect said. Very good. Qiming was even more satisfied. He directly instructed, next, I need you to annex all the factions in the 9 provinces Immortal Dynasty, the Myriad Race Alliance, the Dao Sect Alliance, and so on. Unite the entire 9 provinces domain and rebuild order in the chaos. Only then can we transcend this epic calamity. Do you understand? Yes. Yes. Yes, Branch Master Qiming. Understood. The Branch Masters of the Primordial Demon Sect replied. Qiming's prestige in the Primordial Demon Sect had already surpassed Qing Feiyun. Even including Qing Feiyun, all the elders and disciples of the Primordial Demon Sect respected Qiming and listened to his orders. Qing Feiyun had personally seen how powerful Qiming was. After killing 2 cultivators in succession, he was already convinced of Qiming's strength. In fact, Qing Feiyun still felt that the Primordial Heavenly Venerate's judgment was indeed unique. He saw through Qiming's extraordinariness at a glance and let him assist him. Qiming waved his hand, everyone, go and complete the unification as soon as possible to restore order. Yes. The world's freedom Buddha and the others quickly replied. Wait. Qiming shouted at Qing Feiyun, the world's freedom Buddha, and the others. Master, is there anything else? The world's freedom Buddha asked. Junior brother, is there anything else? Qing Feiyun also asked. Of course. Qiming smiled. He waved his right hand, and light flew out. Energy surged violently. Qiming took out all the heavenly Dao treasures in his hand. In front of him floated heavenly Dao treasures one after another. There were a total of 10 heavenly Dao treasures that emitted an extremely powerful aura. The 6 paths of reincarnation and the heavenly creation mirror were top-grade postnatal heavenly Dao treasures. The snake ring of fate, the heaven and earth 5 elements jade seal, the true time sword, the Heavenly King Divine Hammer, the Myriad Armor Treasure Robe, and the 36 Gates were all high-grade postnatal Heavenly Deo treasures. The Space-Time Gate was a medium-grade postnatal Heavenly Deo treasure. The Heaven and Earth Universe painting was a low-grade postnatal Heavenly Deo treasure. The Heavenly Deo treasure in Li Sheng's hand was completely destroyed by Qi Ming, so it was difficult to repair. Although the Heavenly Deo treasure of the 9 provinces Immortal Emperor was a little damaged and Qi Ming's own Heavenly Deo treasure was also damaged, they were all repaired by Qi Ming. Take them all. Qi Ming said, bring these Heavenly Deo treasures. If you encounter enemies that are difficult to deal with, you can use these. Yes. The World's Freedom Buddha said. Okay. Qing Feiyun was slightly delighted. Go. Qi Ming waved his hand again. In the blink of an eye, Qing Feiyun, the branch masters, Qi Ming's 12 immortal pets, and the immortal realm servant army transformed into streaks of light and quickly left. They headed to various places in the 9 provinces domain and reconstructed it according to Qi Ming's instructions. Yes, not bad, not bad. Qi Ming nodded in satisfaction. Next, I only need to stay on the primordial sacred mountain and wait for the news. I no longer need to personally take action. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, another 1,000 years passed. In these 1,000 years, many things happened in the 9 provinces. Qing Feiyun, the World's Freedom Buddha, and the others followed Qi Ming's instructions and experienced war after war to gradually take down the entire 9 provinces domain. The 9 provinces Immortal Dynasty, the Myriad Race Alliance, the Deo Sect Alliance, and the other factions of all sizes chose to submit to the Primordial Demon Sect. On this day, at noon. Ding! Congratulations, host! The Chaos Great Deo Sword Lotus has been refined for 2,000 years under the enhancement of a quintillion times. It has already advanced to a top-grade upper world Immortal King treasure. Ding! Congratulations, host! The Chaos World Piercing Sword has been refined for 2,000 years under the enhancement of a quintillion times. It has already advanced to a top-grade upper world Immortal King treasure. Ding! Congratulations, host! The Chaos Buzhu Mountain has been refined for 2,000 years under the enhancement of a quintillion times. It has already advanced to a top-grade upper world Immortal King treasure. A smile appeared on Qi Ming's face. With a thought, he opened his mouth and spat out. 3 streaks of light flew out of his mouth. They appeared outside and shone brightly. They were already enveloped in a dense chaotic fog and a faint primordial purple light. After Qi Ming's intrinsic immortal treasures became top-grade upper world Immortal King treasures, their power had already increased many times. They were even stronger than ordinary Heavenly Deo treasures. Another month passed. Qi Ming's entire body shook. He soared into the sky and sat cross-legged on the primordial sacred mountain. He sat in the void and circulated his cultivation technique. A layer of primordial purple light surrounded him. The mark of the Great Deo appeared between Qi Ming's brows. The heart of the Great Deo Immortal King appeared from Qi Ming's body and floated above his head, shining with a faint light. Ding! Congratulations, host! The Chaos Great Deo Scripture, Upper World Immortal King section of the Immortal Realm chapter has been cultivated for 1,000 years under the enhancement of a quintillion times. You have successfully broken through to the mid-stage Immortal King realm. A notification appeared. Open the inventory. With a thought, Qi Ming took out a large number of top-grade immortal crystals from his inventory. He circulated his cultivation method to absorb the energy of these top-grade immortal crystals and refine them. In the surrounding void, strands of primordial purple light descended like the traces of the Great Deo of heaven and earth and slowly surged into Qi Ming's body before being refined and grasped by him. It was obvious. At the beginning, the heart of the Great Deo Immortal King was only an illusion. It was not real and did not have a physical body. It was between illusion and reality. After breaking through to the mid-stage Immortal King realm, the heart of the Great Deo Immortal King began to gradually condense. Qi Ming absorbed and refined the energy of the top-grade immortal crystal and fused with the traces of the Heaven and Earth Great Dao, turning into the power of the Heaven and Earth Great Dao and fusing with the Great Dao Immortal King's heart. It was indeed gradually condensing. Finally, when half of the Great Dao Immortal King's heart condensed, Qi Ming completed his breakthrough. His aura rose greatly and his realm broke through. His cultivation level broke through from the early stage Immortal King realm to the mid-stage Immortal King realm. Next, Qi Ming consolidated his cultivation after breaking through. A month later, the consolidation was completed. Ding! Detected that the host's cultivation level has already broken through to the mid-stage Immortal King realm. The reward for clearing the early stage Immortal King realm game dungeon, the path of the Supreme Immortal King, will be greatly reduced. You can charge a sextillion top-grade immortal crystals to open the new Immortal Realm game dungeon. A notification appeared. I'll charge a sextillion top-grade immortal crystals. Ding! Charging successful. New Immortal Realm game dungeon has been successfully activated, Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain. You can enter. A notification appeared. Enter. The corresponding game dungeon scene appeared in front of Qi Ming. This was a Mystic Domain dungeon. It reflected the environment in front of him like the starry sky of the universe, filled with loneliness and mystery. In this starry universe-like scene, there were 9 planets that seemed to form a galaxy. However, they were actually connected to a line and did not have a sun-like star. On these 9 planets, there was an upper world immortal king who cultivated the Heavenly Dao. Every one of them protected a key. He only needed 9 Heavenly Dao keys to open the ultimate door of the Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain and enter the mysterious region to obtain the corresponding gifts and rewards. Interesting. Qi Ming pondered for a moment and said, I'm curious what the ultimate door of the Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain is and what's behind it. Ding! You can charge a sextillion top-grade immortal crystals to activate the Immortal Realm game dungeon immersion mode. A notification appeared. Charge. Qi Ming said indifferently. Ding! Charging successful. Immortal Realm game dungeon immersion mode has been successfully activated. The notification had just appeared. A total of a sextillion top-grade immortal crystals transformed into an extremely vast energy that surged into Qi Ming's body smoothly and entered his mind. A wisp of consciousness separated from his main consciousness. A wisp of consciousness that had been separated entered the Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain. Immediately after, Qi Ming needed to choose a game character. There was only one game character in the Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain, and that was the game character, Mystic Domain Challenger. After consuming all the energy, in the blink of an eye, the game character, Mystic Domain Challenger had been successfully constructed. The wisp of consciousness that Qi Ming had split off fused with the game character he had created and entered the game dungeon, stepping into the Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain. The challenge had already begun. In the game dungeon scene, an intense battle erupted. The game character that Qi Ming had transformed into defeated the Heavenly Dao Immortal Kings one after another. Although the Heavenly Dao Immortal Kings guarding the 9 planets was very strong, their exact strength was basically not much different from the 9 provinces' Immortal Emperor. Qi Ming used the Great Dao Finger and the Great Dao Hand and easily killed them. There was no difficulty at all. All in all, in less than a day, the game character that Qi Ming had transformed into had killed all the upper world immortal kings guarding the 9 planets and obtained 9 different keys. The 9 keys were divided into 9 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, azure, blue, purple, black, and white. Next, Qi Ming circulated his dharmic powers and activated the 9 keys in his hand. They turned into 9 balls of light that soared into the sky. They surged with light and formed a ring that quickly spun and danced. Ultimate door! Qi Ming shouted, open! The ring formed by the 9 keys transformed into a circular door that flickered with 9 different lights. On the door was the word ultimate. Crack! Slowly, the ultimate door opened. Looking from the outside, it was pitch black inside. The game character that Qi Ming had transformed into entered this ultimate door. The environment inside was pitch black, but there were different colored light balls flying constantly like shooting stars. This is Qi Ming was stunned. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have opened the ultimate door and entered the ultimate land. The light balls of different colors in front of you represent the ultimate light. Please capture the corresponding ultimate light in 10 seconds. Prompt: the larger the ball of light, the more dazzling it is. The stronger the ultimate light, the greater the benefits. In front of Qi Ming, the corresponding notifications and information appeared. Ultimate land, ultimate light. Qi Ming pondered and could not understand this at the moment. What is this? Ding! Countdown, 10, 9, 8, 7. There was no time left. That's it. At the last moment, Qi Ming locked onto an ultimate light. The light was extremely dazzling, and the ball of light was also very large. Although it was not the largest among the many balls of light, Qi Ming could vaguely sense it. Most importantly, the 10-second countdown had already arrived. Qi Ming reached out and grabbed this ultimate light. Purple light flashed and was extremely dazzling. In the purple light, there was a chaotic fog of light. In an instant, a dazzling light enveloped Qi Ming's entire body and filled the entire game dungeon scene. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have successfully captured the ultimate light in the ultimate land. The ultimate light has fused into the AFK farming software. The AFK farming software is upgrading. Estimated time to level up, 10,000 years. Please wait patiently. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have successfully cleared the upper world mid-stage Immortal King game dungeon, Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain. Because the AFK farming software is being upgraded, the clearing reward will be calculated and distributed after the upgrade is completed. Ding! During the upgrade of the AFK farming software, all functions cannot be used. This. Qi Ming looked at the notification that appeared in front of him and a surprised expression appeared on his face. The ultimate light can upgrade the AFK farming software. This is a good thing. Although it needs 10,000 years, to me, 10,000 years is only the blink of an eye. Then I can only wait for the AFK farming software to complete its upgrade in 10,000 years. Qi Ming pondered for a moment. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. Qing Feiyun, the worldly freedom Buddha, and the others returned to the primordial sacred mountain. The world's freedom Buddha said to Qi Ming, "We have already completed your instructions. We have united the 9 provinces domain and subdued all the factions. Moreover, we have established order. Master, please preside over the situation now." Junior brother Qi. Qing Feiyun said respectfully, "You're the only one left." Qi Ming stood up and nodded, "Then let's go." Chapter 402, Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty, Heavenly Dao Merit, Heavenly Venerate Descend. After Qi Ming and the others took a step forward, their figures had already disappeared and entered space. With their current cultivation levels, using divine powers was enough to traverse space. Even so, Qi Ming and the others still arrived at the Eastern Victory Divine Province half a day later. The world's freedom Buddha pointed at the Immortal Court building in front of him with a proud expression. He smiled and said, "In front of us is the heavenly court we established according to your instructions. Please take a look." "Yes, okay." Qi Ming nodded slightly. His gaze looked in the direction pointed by the world's freedom Buddha. What greeted his eyes was an incomparably grand and magnificent scene. It was indeed extremely majestic and surged with auspicious qi. "Junior brother, please take a look." Qing Feiyun looked at the buildings in front of him and a sigh appeared on his face. This was because the buildings of the heavenly court were all built according to Qi Ming's instructions and plan. Qi Ming wanted to unite the 9 provinces domain and overthrow the old order of the 9 provinces Immortal Dynasty. In the epic calamity, he wanted to restore the chaos and establish a new order. He wanted to rebuild a new immortal dynasty. Qi Ming was prepared to establish the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty. He instructed Qing Feiyun, the world's freedom Buddha, and the others to establish the heavenly court of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty in the Eastern Victory Divine Province. As for how to build and plan, Qi Ming completely constructed and planned according to the legendary heavenly court. The buildings of the heavenly court were crisscrossed and arranged in the distribution of heavenly constellations and earth fiends. There were a total of 108 main celestial palaces and treasure halls, and they were scattered everywhere. There were 36 celestial palaces, which was the number of heavenly constellations. There were 72 treasure halls, which matched the number of earth fiends. Not bad, not bad. Qi Ming clasped his hands behind his back and was even more satisfied. The heavenly cycle stars array had already been set up and covered the entire heavenly court. All kinds of auspicious lights blossomed. 10,000 golden lights danced about, extremely dazzling. Rays of auspicious qi surrounded it, forming waves of purple fog that surrounded the entire heavenly court. Immortal qi was faint, it was indeed a true immortal palace. There were 4 heavenly gates standing in the north, south, east, and west. At this moment, Qi Ming stood in front of the southern heavenly gate. He saw that the southern heavenly gate was completely made of glass and was decorated with bright jade. On both sides of the southern heavenly gate stood 2 heaven suppression great generals. They stood as tall as pillars and held their divine weapons proudly. Behind these heaven suppression great generals were more than 10 golden armored deities. Every one of them held a halberd and a whip, held a saber and a sword, and had an extremely heavy aura of war, causing others to feel reverence. Welcome, Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. Welcome, Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. Congratulations, Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. The next moment, in the surroundings, led by these heaven suppression great generals, all the golden armored deities bowed to Qi Ming at the same time and shouted in unison. The aura was like a rainbow as it surged and shook in all directions. An extremely majestic aura spread over with reverence. Not bad, not bad. Qi Ming nodded in satisfaction. After all, they were all Qi Ming's subordinates. Then, on the right side of the huge pillar was a carving of a 5-clawed golden dragon. It was lifelike and had golden dragon scales. It was dazzling like the sun, but 2 red dragon whiskers fluttered. The carving of a 9-colored phoenix was circling above the huge pillar on the left. It was also lifelike as if it was a living thing. There were even 9-colored rainbow feathers. Its wings were spread out as if it was flying in the sky. On the head of the rainbow phoenix was a red feather, like a pill crane. At this moment, a dragon roar sounded. Qi Ming looked up. Above his head, which was the right side of the heavenly staircase, there was a 9-clawed ancestral dragon circling in the air. Dragon Qi surged as the power of providence augmented it. Its dragon might was extremely vast and even formed a connection with the huge pillars on the right. This is Qi Ming pondered. The world's freedom Buddha explained to Qi Ming, this 9-clawed ancestral dragon is the providence of the 9 provinces immortal dynasty. After we captured the immortal court of the 9 provinces immortal dynasty, we directly deprived him of his providence and fused him into the heavenly court. Now, this 9-clawed ancestral dragon has already become the providence of our Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty. I see. Qi Ming nodded. The next moment, on the left, phoenix cries sounded again. 9-colored lights blossomed. It was extremely dazzling and covered the sky. It formed waves of light screens that resonated with the huge pillars on the left. This is. Qing Feiyun replied, this is the Providence Phoenix of the Myriad Race Alliance. After we captured it, we joined forces to kill Qi Hongling and take away the Providence of the Myriad Race Alliance. The current Providence Phoenix has already become part of our Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty. Good, good, good. The corners of Qi Ming's mouth curled up slightly as he smiled, the 9-clawed ancestral dragon coupled with the Providence Phoenix. Very good, very good. What a good dragon and phoenix combination. Their providence is strong. Next, Qi Ming went to the Heavenly Court Immortal Palaces with Qing Feiyun and the World's Freedom Buddha. The 36 celestial palaces were the Cloud Transportation Palace, the Visha Palace, the 5 Brightness Palace, the Sun Palace, the Music Palace. There were also 72 treasure halls. They were the Court Meeting Hall, the Linxia Hall, the Treasure Light Hall, the Heavenly King Hall, the Spirit Official Hall. There was a jade Kylan pillar among the palaces that made people unable to forget about it. On the Life Star platform, there were famous flowers that had not been removed for thousands of years. Beside the alchemy furnace, there were hundreds of thousands of green auspicious herbs and spiritual herbs. In front of the court building, there was a crimson robe, dazzling stars, lotus crown, and golden jade. In the Spirit Heaven Treasure Hall, Qi Ming sat high on the Immortal Emperor's seat. The purple gold dragon chair flickered with light. His aura was dignified and his gaze was cold as he looked down at all the immortals in the hall. At this moment, the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty was successfully established. Qi Ming naturally became the Immortal Emperor of the Heaven Enlightenment dynasty and was called the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. Greetings, Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. Greetings, Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. Below, the immortal official experts of the 9 provinces Immortal Dynasty, the new clan master of the 9-headed Phoenix clan, the sect master of the Dao sect, Qing Feiyun, the Buddha of Freedom, the Lord of the 9 provinces, and the branch masters of the Primordial Demon sect were all present. Looking over, there were at least thousands of figures. Every one of them was an upper world immortal king. They all knelt down and bowed. This was because only the upper world immortal kings were qualified to enter the Spirit Heaven Treasure Hall. Ha ha ha! Qi Ming laughed loudly. He was naturally in a very good mood. In addition, although Qi Ming had constructed the Immortal Palace Emperor dynasty of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty according to the structure of the Heavenly Court, he did not establish the immortal official divine position of the Heavenly Court. Instead, a new order was established according to the exact situation. First, because the primordial province had been torn apart by Qi Ming with supreme power and became 2 great provinces, the 9 provinces domain could no longer be called the 9 provinces domain. Qi Ming changed the name of the 9 provinces domain to Heaven Enlightenment domain. The current Heaven Enlightenment domain had a total of 10 provinces. They were, the Eastern Victory Divine Province, the Western Ox Province, the Southern Viewing Province, the North Province, the Cloud Lightning Province, the Misty Immortal Province, the Primordial Province, the Sea Region Province, the Immortal Dynasty Province, and the last new state that had been split from the Primordial Province, the Split Origin Province. Qi Ming appointed the masters of the 10 provinces to help manage the Heaven Enlightenment domain. There were also various immortal officials and various different institutions. Time passed. A month later, the order set by Qi Ming was completely perfected. Somehow, in the current Heaven Enlightenment domain, the epic tribulation Qi in the world dissipated, nurturing a new life force. The oppressive aura dissipated. The living beings in the Heaven Enlightenment domain basically felt that the epic calamity had passed. The pressure disappeared, and the higher their cultivation level, the more obvious it was. In the Spirit Heaven Treasure Hall, Qi Ming soared into the sky. In his right palm, he was holding the Dao Validation Dao fruit that was almost completely nurtured. Now, the epic calamity had passed. Boom! Qi Ming sensed it. He raised his head and clearly saw that in the unseen world, a supreme will seemed to notice this. In the sky, the heavenly Dao merit of the upper world with a dark yellow color descended. It was extremely majestic and enveloped an area. It was dozens of acres in size. It's really the heavenly Dao merit. A hint of joy appeared on Qi Ming's face. However, at this moment, the sky collapsed. Qi Ming felt an extremely terrifying power cross endless space and time to directly descend into the current Heaven Enlightenment domain. What? A low and dignified voice sounded from the crack, my personal disciple actually lost and died. That trash Xia Fengjiu. To think that I thought so highly of him and spent so much effort. That is. Gasp. What a terrifying aura. This. In the surroundings, the upper world immortal kings raised their heads and looked at the crack in the sky. They felt an incomparably terrifying might, and their faces were pale as fear arose in their hearts. Xia Fengjiu is the true name of the 9 provinces' immortal emperor. Qing Feiyun was shocked and shouted at Qi Ming, "Junior brother, be careful. The other party should be the 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate." He actually descended. 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate. Qi Ming only stared at the crack in the sky and indeed felt a terrifying pressure. It was as if an invisible force surged out of the surrounding void and wanted to restrain him. He circulated his cultivation method. The power of the heaven and earth Great Dao circulated around his body and quickly neutralized this invisible force, unable to restrain him. "You killed my personal disciple." The 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate's voice sounded again, "The 9 provinces domain is one of my Dao fields. You killed Xia Fengjiu and still want to occupy my Dao field. You deserve to die." The crack in the sky cracked again, producing an incomparable force. It condensed into an incomparably huge pitch-black hand seal that directly landed on Qi Ming. At the same time, another green stream of light tore through the air. It was a green bottle. A terrifying devouring power came from the mouth of the bottle, wanting to snatch Qi Ming's heavenly Dao merit. Chapter 403, Primordial Heavenly Venerate, 1 against 2. Great Dao Hand. Qi Ming roared. The heart of the Great Dao Immortal King rushed out of his body and floated above his head. Primordial purple light descended and dharmic powers surged. The power of the heaven and earth Great Dao was augmented. Between his brows, the Great Dao mark had already appeared, and it was abnormally mysterious. The next moment, in the void, a lifelike huge palm appeared and soared into the sky. It faced the pitch-black hand seal that the 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate had sent. The two sides collided. In an instant, unparalleled energy exploded, producing an extremely terrifying power. Energy ripples spread out and shattered the surrounding space. Another series of explosions sounded. The 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate's voice sounded again, "You can actually block my hand seal. You're indeed an extraordinary Dao cultivator. No wonder you could kill Xia Fengjiu." Qi Ming's Great Dao hand shattered, but the 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate's pitch-black hand seal also shattered. The two hand seals exploded, and the power of the explosion shattered the surrounding space. Cracks appeared on the surrounding ground. All kinds of mountain ranges collapsed, and a destructive scene appeared. It was extremely shocking. Fortunately, the heavenly court of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty was protected by the heavenly cycle stars array, so it blocked the aftershock of the battle. The heavenly court of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty was not injured at all. Cough cough. Qi Ming was forced back by the shockwave of the explosion. He circulated his dharmic powers and coughed out some blood, but he quickly returned to normal. The strength of the 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate was too powerful, far surpassing the 9 provinces' immortal emperor. After all, he was in existence in the Venerate realm. Qi Ming did not know the exact realm of the 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate. He established the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty in the current Heaven Enlightenment domain and rebuilt the order. He transcended and resolved the epic calamity and obtained a large number of heavenly Dao merit. However, the 6th Dao Heavenly Venerate appeared and interfered. He even attacked Qi Ming and wanted to snatch his heavenly Dao merit. If he could not obtain this heavenly Dao merit, the Dao validation Dao fruit in Qi Ming's hand would not completely mature. Great Dao Finger! Qi Ming shouted loudly. He raised his right hand and pointed. In the void, a huge finger appeared and pointed at the green bottle. The green bottle spun lightly, and green ripples spread out like ripples, blocking Qi Ming's Great Dao Finger. Bang! Bang! The green bottle spun again and shattered Qi Ming's Great Dao Finger. This A shocked expression appeared on Qi Ming's face. This green bottle was probably not an ordinary item. At the very least, it was a heavenly Dao treasure. It might have reached the level of a connate heavenly Dao treasure. That was why it had such terrifying power. 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate. Suddenly, in the western Ox province, in the ancestral land of the nine-headed phoenix, an earth-shattering shout sounded. It pierced through the distance of space and crossed layers of space to quickly descend. A white fog surged and covered the surroundings. In the fog was a statue that directly collided with the green bottle. The ripples and ripples dissipated. Bang! The green bottle was sent flying. The white fog was also defeated by the ripples of the green bottle. The statue revealed its true appearance. This statue was completely snow white and was 3 meters tall. It had a human body and a beast head. Its entire body was covered in fine scales, but it had 9 different snake heads. Every snake head had different primitive runes. It's you. 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate's voice sounded with anger. 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate, you indeed left a backup plan in my Dao field. It seems that this is your avatar statue. 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate. A dignified and sharp voice sounded from the statue of the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate. Didn't you teach Xia Fengjiu to obtain the Heavenly Dao merit? To us, the Heavenly Dao merit is the best treasure to increase our cultivation levels. Then let's fight. In the sky, the crack cracked again and quickly widened, tearing apart the barrier of the Heaven Enlightenment domain. Chaos Chi surged into the domain. Accompanied by 6 different colored lights, they entered the Heaven Enlightenment domain from outside the crack and gathered together, turning into a black avatar. This was an avatar formed by the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate. As for the true body of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate, it was probably at an unknown distance from the Heaven Enlightenment domain. The 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate had only descended one avatar. Avatar. The 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate's avatar statue shouted angrily, "You want to defeat my avatar statue with just your avatar?" An extremely intense battle erupted. The avatar statue of the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate fought repeatedly with one of the avatars of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate. They fought time and time again and used various divine powers and methods. 6 Paths of Reincarnation. The avatar of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate waved his right hand, and the Heavenly Dao treasure refined by the world's freedom Buddha, the 6 Paths of Reincarnation, actually broke free from his control and flew into the hand of the avatar. Beast Summoning Bell. There was another loud sound. The avatar statue of the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate shouted. The Heavenly Dao treasure refined by Fang Ru, the Beast Summoning Bell, also left his control and flew into the hands of the 9-headed avatar statue. The Beast Summoning Bell was originally Qi Hongling's treasure. After Qi Hongling was killed by Qing Feiyun, Fang Ru, and the others, Qi Ming let Fang Ru refine the Beast Summoning Bell. In the end, it was taken back by the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate. The Beast Summoning Bell was given to Qi Hongling by the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate. In the end, battle erupted in succession. The avatar statue of the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate and the avatar of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate could not do anything to each other. As time passed, even if the Heavenly Dao merit was blocked by them, it still slowly landed on Qi Ming. Stop! The 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate's avatar statue suddenly suggested, between us, even if it's only an avatar, it's difficult to determine the winner in a short period of time. But if this continues, even if we stop him, before we can determine the winner, the Heavenly Dao merit will probably fall into Qi Ming's hands. How about we kill Qi Ming first and compete afterwards? Sure. The avatar of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate nodded and directly agreed. The gazes of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate's avatar and the avatar statue of the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate landed on Qi Ming, who felt a terrifying pressure. Qi Ming took a deep breath. Around him, Heavenly Dao treasures flew. Qi Ming was prepared to fight with all his might. No matter what, in front of him was only the avatar of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate and the avatar statue of the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate. It was not as if their true bodies had descended. Qi Ming still had a chance to win. Of course, even if Qi Ming really won, he would probably completely alarm and anger the other party, causing the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate and 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate to directly descend. That was the most dangerous thing. Qi Ming was very unwilling to give up the Heavenly Dao merit that he was about to obtain. If he could fuse and absorb another Dao fruit, he could save tens of thousands of years of bitter cultivation and quickly advance to the late-stage Immortal King realm. Enough. You're bullying the weak. Do you really think I'm not here? Suddenly, in the Primordial province. On the Primordial Demon Territory's Primordial Sacred Mountain. The Primordial Heavenly Venerate statue standing on the Primordial Sacred Mountain cracked. It was like shattered porcelain, covered in fine cracks. Finally, it completely shattered. A middle-aged man in green slowly walked out. He had his hands behind his back and clouds surrounded his body. He was extremely powerful and could not be seen clearly. However, upon closer inspection, they would discover that this figure was quite illusory. It was not a real existence, but an avatar. This was the avatar of the Primordial Heavenly Venerate. The next moment, when the Primordial Heavenly Venerate's avatar appeared, in the sky, immediately, various phenomena appeared. There were heaven-like clouds that were like a canopy. Multicolored light shone brightly, and all evil was easy to resist. All kinds of profound patterns circulated, and they ignored the attacks of any treasures or weapons and were immune to the harm of all divine powers and spells. In the clouds, the primordial world vaguely appeared. The sun, moon, and stars shone in it. In the clouds, 5-colored light tainted the heavens, and 8 music of immortals resounded in the world. Outside the spirit clouds, countless golden lamps, golden lotuses, jade pearls, and beads fell from the clouds. It was as if water was flowing endlessly in front of the eaves. The primordial heavenly Venerate's avatar took a step forward and disappeared from the spot. In the next moment, it had already appeared in the Eastern Victory Divine Province and stood in front of Qi Ming. Not bad. The primordial heavenly Venerate's avatar looked back at Qi Ming. Disciple Qi Ming greets Master. Qi Ming was stunned. He took a deep breath and restrained his strength. He bowed to the primordial heavenly Venerate's avatar to show his respect. Disciple Qing Feiyun greets Master. Qing Feiyun was excited and directly knelt down. We kneel before the primordial heavenly Venerate. Immediately after, in the surroundings, the branch masters of the primordial demon sect and the many immortal officials of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty all reacted and knelt on the ground to kowtow. Primordial Heavenly Venerate. The avatar of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate said in a low voice, I didn't expect you to actually attack. The 9 mystical Heavenly Venerate's avatar statue was silent. Will you leave yourselves, or do I have to ask you to leave? The primordial Heavenly Venerate's avatar asked. Fight! The avatar of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate shouted. Come and fight! The 9 mystical Heavenly Venerate's avatar statue also shouted. As you wish. The primordial Heavenly Venerate's avatar replied. The next moment, the primordial Heavenly Venerate's avatar was the first to attack. The avatar of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate and the avatar statue of the 9 Mystic Heavenly Venerate joined forces to deal with the Primordial Heavenly Venerate's avatar. Even if it was 1 against 2, the Primordial Heavenly Venerate's avatar still had the advantage. So powerful! Qi Ming was surprised. Master's avatar can actually fight 2 people alone and suppress the other party. In other words, Master's cultivation level should be higher than the 9 mystical Heavenly Venerate and 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate. The battle ended. As several explosions that shook more than half of the Heaven Enlightenment domain sounded, the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate's avatar and the 9 mystical Heavenly Venerate's avatar statue collapsed. When Qi Ming saw this scene, he heaved a sigh of relief. With a wave of his right hand, the heavenly Dao merit in the sky landed and slowly fused into the Dao validation Dao fruit in his hand. The Dao validation Dao fruit was quickly maturing. Chapter 404, 10,000 years later, 3,000 domains of the first upper world, Heavenly Sage Domain. Not long after, the Dao validation Dao fruit in Qi Ming's hand absorbed all the heavenly Dao merit after this epic calamity and completely completed the corresponding transformation. Purple light flashed and landed in Qi Ming's hand like a dazzling purple apple. The primordial heavenly Venerate's avatar came and stood in front of Qi Ming. He clasped his hands behind his back and stared at him. I've already finished dealing with the avatar statue of the 6 Dao heavenly Venerate and the 9 mystical heavenly Venerate. After this matter is over, after you break through to the immortal realm and enter the Venerate realm, come to the primordial heaven to find me. Qi Ming bowed and said respectfully, I will follow Master's orders. The primordial heavenly Venerate's avatar nodded in satisfaction. In addition, after this battle, this avatar of mine will dissipate. It will naturally be unable to continue protecting you. However, after this battle, the 9 mystical heavenly Venerate and 6 Dao heavenly Venerate will definitely not dare to find trouble with you. You can relax. I'll wait for you in the primordial heaven. The primordial heavenly Venerate's avatar was indeed slowly dissipating. As light flashed, a diamond-shaped purple token condensed. Qi Ming reached out and caught it. On this diamond-shaped purple token was written, Primordial Heavenly Venerate Token. After Qi Ming's cultivation level broke through to the Venerate realm, he could use this Primordial Heavenly Venerate Token to directly cross distant space-time and even cross the barrier of the world to enter the Primordial Heaven. Speaking of which, the Primordial Heaven was the Dao field of the Primordial Heavenly Venerate. Qi Ming took a deep breath and put the Primordial Heavenly Venerate token into his inventory. He sized up the Dao validation Dao fruit in his hand and nodded in satisfaction before putting it into his inventory. Congratulations, Heavenly Emperor! Merit has descended from the heavens and you have obtained the Dao validation Dao fruit. Congratulations, Heavenly Emperor! Merit has descended from the heavens and you have obtained the Dao validation Dao fruit. In the surroundings, the immortal officials of the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor, including Qing Feiyun and the others, recovered from their shock and shouted in unison. Qi Ming had established the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty and was called the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. In short, he was the Heavenly Emperor. He nodded at them, you can all leave. Yes. Yes, Heavenly Emperor. The immortal officials said in unison. They all left to busy themselves. Your Majesty. Qing Feiyun came and bowed to Qi Ming. His tone had already changed greatly. He had also changed from calling him junior brother to Your Majesty. Senior brother, you don't have to be so polite. Qi Ming said, just call me junior brother. No, no, no. Qing Feiyun shook his head and said, Your Majesty, you're already the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor of the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. You can't be like before. Forget it. Qi Ming did not want to waste his breath on this matter. Senior brother, why are you looking for me? This Qing Feiyun coughed lightly. Your Majesty, Master just descended and revealed his avatar to defeat the other 2 avatars. Did he have any other instructions? No. Qi Ming reacted and understood Qing Feiyun's thoughts. He actually wanted to ask what the Primordial Heavenly Venerate had planned for him, but the Primordial Heavenly Venerate had never mentioned Qing Feiyun from the beginning to the end. In the eyes of the Primordial Heavenly Venerate, Qing Feiyun was completely dispensable as an entry disciple. He did not take it to heart or pay too much attention to it. When Qing Feiyun saw Qi Ming's expression, his gaze darkened. However, Qi Ming said, Master said that when I break through to the Venerate realm, I can enter the Primordial Heaven. At that time, I can bring senior brother along. Really? Qing Feiyun was a little excited, but he quickly calmed down. Master only asked you to go and did not mention me. Wouldn't it be bad to bring me along? It's fine. Qi Ming waved his hand. Thank you, Heavenly Emperor. Qing Feiyun bowed. However, it's not so easy for me to break through to the Venerate realm. Qi Ming pondered for a moment. I'm only at the mid-stage Immortal King realm now. I'm still a distance away from the late-stage Immortal King realm. It's even more difficult to break through to the Venerate realm. Most importantly, the AFK farming software is still upgrading. All kinds of functions can't be used for the time being. Time passed. Half a month later. In the cultivation hall. Qi Ming sat cross-legged and assisted in the circulation of the array formation. He took out the Dao Validation Dao fruit from his inventory. Purple light flickered and shone on Qi Ming's body, dyeing most of the cultivation hall purple. Let's begin. Qi Ming pondered for a moment. The Chaos Great Dao scripture circulated. His dharmic powers were like a fog of light as they gradually enveloped the purple Dao fruit and slowly refined and absorbed it. The purple Dao Validation Dao fruit transformed into a purple stream of light that entered Qi Ming's body and entered deep seclusion cultivation. Time passed. Cultivation was endless. Moreover, with Qi Ming's cultivation level, reaching the upper world Immortal King realm, entering a deep seclusion to cultivate would be thousands of years. 10,000 years later. Light fog spread around Qi Ming's body. It took him 10,000 years to completely absorb and refine the Dao Validation Dao fruit. This was because this purple Dao Validation Dao fruit absorbed the tribulation Qi, fate, karma, debt, and various other energies of the 9 provinces domain. It even fused dozens of acres of heavenly Dao merit before completely nurturing it. The Dao runes and profundities contained in this purple Dao Validation Dao fruit even surpassed the Dao Validation Dao fruit that Qi Ming had obtained in the early stage Immortal King Realm game dungeon, the Path of the Supreme Immortal King. This was because there was no AFK farming software to help refine and absorb this purple Dao fruit. Qi Ming cultivated and refined it himself, so it took a full 10,000 years. Around Qi Ming, the light fog of the primordial purple Qi surged. The great Dao mark between his brows became clearer and his comprehension of the heaven and earth great Dao increased greatly. For now, Qi Ming's comprehension of the heaven and earth great Dao had already reached the initial phase, micro-sense large success limit. He was only a step away from the perfection realm. Not bad. Qi Ming stabilized his aura and opened his eyes. He pondered for a moment and said, as long as my comprehension of the heaven and earth great Dao breaks through to the perfected microsense, my cultivation level will naturally reach the late-stage Immortal King realm. He continued, however, the Chaos Great Dao scripture only has the upper world Immortal King section of the Immortal Realm chapter. I can't deduce a cultivation method at the Venerate realm. Therefore, it's not easy to break through. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. Qi Ming prepared to come out of seclusion. Ding! The AFK farming software has successfully fused with the ultimate light and completed this comprehensive upgrade. It will be restarted in a month. Please wait patiently. A notification appeared. A smile appeared on Qi Ming's face. After more than 10,000 years, the AFK farming software has finally been upgraded. It can be restarted in a month. Qi Ming received a notification. Immediately after, the door to the cultivation hall opened. Qi Ming walked out from the center and arrived outside. Qing Feiyun, Fang are you, the world's freedom Buddha, and the others sensed the commotion and quickly rushed over. The immortal officials tore through the air. Your Majesty! Master! We welcome the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor to come out of seclusion. Welcome, Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor! Qing Feiyun and the others shouted in unison. Qi Ming looked around. With a thought, he circulated his divine power and pry into the workings of the heavens. In an instant, Qi Ming knew what had happened in the Heaven Enlightenment domain in the past 10,000 years. His cultivation and Dao had already unknowingly reached an extremely unbelievable level. Although he had not become a law heavenly Venerate, he was already very terrifying. Not bad, not bad. Qi Ming nodded repeatedly. In the 10,000 years that I've been in seclusion, you've done very well. You've managed the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty well. I'm very satisfied. Your Majesty, this is what we should do. Thank you for your praise, Heavenly Emperor. His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor's praise is worth all our efforts. The immortal officials flattered. Then, Qi Ming asked the world's freedom Buddha and the others about the things that had happened in the past 10,000 years. According to the descriptions of the world's freedom Buddha and the others, he wanted to verify the results he had deduced. Your Majesty. At this moment, the Lord of the North Province, Zhang Taiyu, took a few steps forward and cupped his hands in greeting to Qi Ming. He said, I have an important matter to report to you. What is it? Back then, Qi Ming had fled during the pursuit of the 9 provinces Immortal Dynasty and arrived in the North Province. Zhang Taiyu had once intercepted Qi Ming on the Life River. He had almost died in Zhang Taiyu's hands, but Qi Ming had still been saved by the Heavenly Demon Branch Master. Now, Zhang Taiyu very sensibly surrendered and submitted to Qi Ming. Only then did he survive. Qi Ming did not kill him. Instead, he continued to let Zhang Taiyu act as the Lord of the North Province. 500 years ago, Zhang Taiyu said, a hidden spatial tunnel appeared at the source of the Life River, which is the Heaven Forbidden Zone. I entered the Heaven Forbidden Zone and discovered living beings that do not belong to the Heaven Enlightenment domain. Qi Ming looked over, there's such a thing? Continue. Zhang Taiyu nodded and continued, I took action and captured these living beings who did not belong to the Heaven Enlightenment domain. I interrogated them and obtained the information I wanted. These living beings are all from the Heavenly Sage domain. In addition, they are a group of mind slaves from the Myriad Immortal Palace. Heavenly Sage domain. Qi Ming said, you mean that the Heaven Enlightenment domain and the Heavenly Sage domain are connected, so these mind slaves accidentally entered the Heaven Forbidden Zone? Yes. Zhang Taiyu said. How about this? Qi Ming instructed, Zhang Taiyu, I'll leave this matter to you. Investigate the entire matter and investigate the situation of the Heavenly Sage domain. There must be no mistake. Zhang Taiyu was stunned for a moment, but he still nodded, yes. Chapter 405, Changes in the AFK Farming Software, Late Stage Upper World Immortal King, Special Dungeon. The Heaven Enlightenment domain and the Heavenly Sage domain were actually connected, and even crossed paths. There were even living beings who arrived at the Heaven Enlightenment domain. This matter could be big or small. It mainly depended on Qi Ming's attitude and the attitudes of the experts in the Heavenly Sage domain. The factions and experts in the Heavenly Sage domain wanted to occupy the Heaven Enlightenment domain, so a battle that crossed 2 realms was naturally unavoidable. Or rather, if Qi Ming wanted to control the Heavenly Sage domain, a huge battle would similarly arise. In addition, Qi Ming had spent some effort to establish the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor dynasty. He had many powerful subordinates under him. Some things could naturally be handed to these powerful subordinates. He did not need to do anything himself. Zhang Taiyu was very strong and his methods were very brilliant. It should be very easy to investigate this matter. With his ability, he was enough to take on this mission. Zhang Taiyu, don't disappoint me. Qi Ming said. Your Majesty, please don't worry. Zhang Taiyu jolted and increased his tone as he said in a deep voice, I will definitely figure out the situation and background of the Heavenly Sage domain in the shortest time. Qi Ming waved his hand. Go. Zhang Taiyu bowed again. He transformed into a stream of light and left. In the blink of an eye, another month later. In the Spirit Heaven Treasure Hall. Only Qi Ming sat alone on the Heavenly Emperor Dragon Throne. There were no other immortals around. Ding! Congratulations, host! The AFK farming software has been successfully activated again. A notification appeared. In front of Qi Ming, which was in his vision, a notification appeared first. However, virtual pop-up windows appeared one after another. On them were the changes after the upgrade of this AFK farming software. Host, Qi Ming. Level, Mid-Stage Upper World Immortal King. Cultivation Method, Chaos Great Dao Scripture. Lesser Divine Powers, Mystic Technique, 8 Trigrams Yin-Yang Divine Technique, 5 Elements Rotation Divine Technique, Divine Sword Lightning Manipulation Technique, and Samadhi Fire Divine Technique. A total of 129,600. Great Divine Power, Heavenly Constellation 36 Techniques, Great Calamity Technique, Great Origin Technique, a total of 3,000. Supreme Divine Power, Supreme Karma Technique, Myriad Techniques Return to 1, Heaven and Earth Limitless Life Scripture. Intrinsic Immortal Treasure, Chaos Great Dao Sword Lotus, Chaos World Piercing Sword, Chaos Buzhu Mountain. Item, Snake Ring of Fate, Space-Time Gate, Heaven and Earth Universe Painting, omitted. 1 Button Farming, can be used. Immortal Pet Slot, can be used. Servant System, can be used. Deduction System, can be used. Qi Ming nodded slightly. Ding. Upgraded function, 1 AFK farming space. A notification appeared. Qi Ming immediately checked the exact situation of the AFK farming space. After this AFK farming software upgrade, the main upgrade was still the main function related to the AFK farming. It could consume the corresponding Dao origin to activate the AFK farming space. Qi Ming could enter it. After entering the AFK farming space, he could activate the function to speed up time. For example, after activating the doubled time flow, if he spent 2 days in the AFK farming space, only a day would pass in the outside world. After 2 years, only a year would pass in the outside world. If he activated the 10,000 times amplified time flow, then only a year had passed in the outside world after Qi Ming spent 10,000 years in the AFK farming space. The ability to change the time flow of this AFK farming space is very strong. Qi Ming's face was filled with joy. However, I don't have any Dao origin in my hand now. I can't use the AFK farming space. In the future, as long as I have enough Dao origin, I can even break through in a short period of time and increase my realm and strength. Ding! Upgraded function, 2 infinite immortal pet slots. Another notification appeared. As the name implied, from now on, Qi Ming was no longer restricted by the immortal pet slot. He could subdue countless immortal pets and even form a powerful immortal pet army. No matter how strong an immortal pet was, it was only an immortal pet. No matter how strong it was, even a rare immortal pet that cultivated the heavenly Dao was only on par with the 9 provinces immortal emperor. The infinite immortal pet slots are not bad. Ding! Upgraded function, 3 Activate the Dao pet slot. A notification appeared. Dao pet. Qi Ming pondered for a moment and checked the information about the Dao pet. Dao pet, as the name implies, it has broken through the immortal realm and comprehended 3,000 rules and 129,600 laws. It has also comprehended the profundity of the Dao of heaven and earth and condensed its own Dao fruit. Only then can it be called a Dao pet. In other words, his Dao pet has stepped into the Venerate realm. Qi Ming exclaimed. Ding! Upgrade function, 4 Activating Dungeon Immersion Mode no longer charges immortal crystals. You can freely split your consciousness and enter the game dungeon. Not bad. Qi Ming said, this will save me a sum of immortal crystals. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have successfully cleared the upper world mid-stage Immortal King Realm Game Dungeon, Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain. The rewards have been calculated. Reward, 1 Dao Validation Dao Fruit, 1 septillion top grade Immortal Crystals. A notification appeared. This is Qi Ming reacted, indeed, I cleared the Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain. However, because the AFK farming software suddenly upgraded, the reward was not distributed in time. It's only now that it's in my hands. Another Dao validation Dao fruit. Qi Ming nodded in satisfaction, not bad. I should be able to break through to the late-stage Immortal King realm. Next, Qi Ming charged top-grade Immortal crystals and cultivated the Chaos Great Dao scripture. At the same time, he continued to comprehend the Chaos Great Dao rune. Unknowingly, Qi Ming sensed that he was about to comprehend the true core of the Chaos Great Dao rune. At that time, he would definitely obtain great gains. Qi Ming left the Spirit Heaven Treasure Hall and headed for the Cultivation Hall. He continued to cultivate in seclusion and absorbed the Dao validation Dao fruit to increase his strength. A year later, in the Cultivation Hall, with the help of the AFK farming software, Qi Ming only used less than a year to absorb and fuse the Dao validation Dao fruit. Using this Dao validation Dao fruit, Qi Ming's comprehension of the great Dao of heaven and earth had officially reached the initial phase, perfected microsense realm. If he continued to advance, he would reach the Dao heart realm. At that time, Qi Ming could use his own comprehension of the heaven and earth great Dao to walk his own path and condense his own great Dao fruit. He could step into the Venerate realm. Qi Ming was still a distance away from this step. Breakthrough! Qi Ming shouted loudly, and his eyes were filled with a dazzling light. The mark of the great Dao between his brows became clearer and brighter. His aura quickly rose and broke through the limit to reach the late-stage Immortal King realm. At the same time, his great Dao Immortal King's heart reached a completely condensed state from half illusionary. Primordial purple light enveloped it, and it was incomparably dazzling. At this moment, Qi Ming successfully broke through to the late-stage Immortal King realm. Good, good, good. The corners of Qi Ming's mouth curled up. He was in a very good mood. He felt the powerful strength in his body. His strength had indeed increased greatly compared to before. If the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerates Avatar and the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerates Avatar statue descended again, Qi Ming had absolute confidence in defeating them. If the true bodies of the 6 Dao Heavenly Venerate and the 9 Mystical Heavenly Venerate descended, Qi Ming would not be confident. After all, he did not know the exact cultivation levels of the two. If it was a first-level Law Heavenly Venerate who had just stepped into the Venerate realm, Qi Ming was still confident of winning. If it was an additional level higher, Qi Ming would not be confident. A month later, Qi Ming consolidated his cultivation. Ding! Detected that the host's cultivation level has already broken through to the late-stage Immortal King realm. The reward for clearing the mid-stage Immortal King realm game dungeon, Heavenly Dao Immortal King Mystic Domain, will be greatly reduced. You can charge 10 billion top-grade Immortal crystals to open the new Immortal Realm game dungeon. A notification appeared. Then open it. Qi Ming planned to charge Immortal crystals. Ding! Because the host's cultivation level has already reached the limit of the Immortal Realm and is about to prepare to step into the Venerate Realm, the new Immortal Realm game dungeon will be changed to Special Dungeon. It requires 100 billion top-grade Immortal crystals to open. Another notification popped up. Special Dungeon. Qi Ming was shocked. Moreover, the Immortal crystals consumed have increased by 10 times on the original foundation. It requires a total of 100 billion top-grade Immortal crystals to open. From the looks of it, the special dungeon that has been activated this time should be able to help me step into the Venerate realm. In that case, it's very worth it to spend 100 billion top-grade Immortal crystals. Moreover, I lack everything except Immortal crystals. Charge. Ding! Charging successful. Successfully activated the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. You can enter. A notification appeared. Dao Fruit Mystery. Qi Ming was stunned and did not quite understand. Enter the special dungeon. First, all the information regarding this special dungeon appeared in Qi Ming's mind. This special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery, allowed him to experience reincarnation time and time again. A total of 129,600 reincarnations were needed. Most importantly, the characters that Qiming had reincarnated into were true heavenly venerates, but they were all fallen heavenly venerates. He would experience the lives of these heavenly venerates. From the birth, cultivation, experience, love, hatred, death, and departure of these heavenly venerates, everything would be personally experienced. He could comprehend the nurturing of the Dao fruit. Finally, after 129,600 reincarnations, he would completely understand the true mysteries of the Dao fruit and condensed it. Every time Qiming entered this special dungeon, he could only experience the life of a heavenly venerate. Therefore, Qiming had to enter this special dungeon 129,600 times. Every time he entered, he had to charge 100 billion top-grade immortal crystals. So exaggerated! Qiming could not help but exclaim. He split out a trace of consciousness and entered this special dungeon. The person Qiming had reincarnated into in this special dungeon was Heavenly Venerate Chongyang, who was destined to become a Law Heavenly Venerate. Chapter 406, Great Dao Fruit Fragment. The wisp of consciousness that Qiming had separated entered the special dungeon in a daze. It experienced reincarnation and obtained new life. Wah wah! A baby's cry sounded. It was very loud. This is... Qiming looked at the scene on the game screen. Information regarding Heavenly Venerate Chongyang slowly surged into Qiming's mind and was gradually learned. Heavenly Venerate Chongyang was born in the 7th upper world. According to the time, it's at least 100 million epochs away from now. Qiming pondered for a moment and said, an epoch is a trillion years, and 100 million epochs is 100 quintillion years. It's too long. Heavenly Venerate Chongyang was born ordinary. His parents were only ordinary perfected immortals. He was only the child of 2 perfected immortals and his aptitude was relatively ordinary. However, his life was magnificent. He experienced various calamities and obtained different opportunities. Finally, Heavenly Venerate Chongyang used 10 epochs to break through the limit of the immortal realm and step into the Venerate realm to become a Law Heavenly Venerate. However, Heavenly Venerate Chongyang's highest cultivation level is only at the 3rd level Law Heavenly Venerate realm. The Dao fruit reached rank 3. In a huge battle, Heavenly Venerate Chongyang died in the hands of the demon Dao Heavenly Venerate. According to the time, Heavenly Venerate Chongyang had lived for a full 100 epochs. Next, the wisp of consciousness that Qiming had separated would experience everything about Heavenly Venerate Chongyang, comprehend all his experiences, and comprehend the mysteries of the Dao fruit. As expected of a special dungeon, it can actually completely restore the 7th upper world from 100 million epochs ago. Qiming looked at the game screen. A wisp of consciousness had indeed successfully reincarnated into Heavenly Venerate Chongyang. The newborn baby fell to the ground. Everything in the special dungeon completely returned to the 7th upper world 100 million epochs ago. Of course, in Qiming's vision, the game scene was an accelerated scene. In the blink of an eye, many years had passed. In the vision of the wisp of consciousness that Qiming had split out, he had indeed experienced many years and various things. With a thought, Qiming closed the game screen and no longer paid attention to it. There was no need to pay attention to it. He only needed to wait for the time to arrive before he could obtain his gains in the special dungeon. Time passed. 100 days later. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have experienced 100 epochs in the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. 100 days have passed in the real world. You have completely passed Heavenly Venerate Chongyang's life and comprehended everything about him. You have comprehended the mysteries of the Dao Fruit and cleared the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery once. Reward, 1 Great Dao Fruit Fragment, 1/129,600, and 1000 Low-Grade Dao Origin. A notification appeared. I passed. A smile appeared on Qiming's face as he quickly checked the information about the Great Dao Fruit Fragment and the Dao Origin. Item: Great Dao Fruit Fragment. Introduction: a special item from the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. It contains information about the Dao Fruit Mystery. If you can gather 129,600 Great Dao Fruit fragments, you can condense them into the Great Dao Fruit. Item: Low-grade Dao Origin. Introduction: an item from the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. It contains the power of the Dao Origin. This is an energy crystal similar to the Immortal Crystal and Spirit Stone. However, the Dao Origin contains the Dao runes and is nurtured in the chaos. It is what existences at the Venerate realm need to cultivate. Normally speaking, apart from the Dao runes contained in the Dao Origin, according to the conversion of energy, a low-grade Dao Origin was equivalent to 1 trillion top-grade Immortal crystals. Coupled with the Dao runes contained in the Dao Origin, Dao Origin and Immortal crystals were incomparable. They were on completely different levels. This was because existences at the Venerate realm could not truly recover their strength by absorbing Immortal crystals. They had to absorb the Dao Origin or chaos energy to recover. Qi Ming took out a low-grade Dao Origin. It was a palm-sized diamond that was suffused with a chaotic fog of light and contained wisps of invisible Dao runes. Observing carefully, there was a black and white mark on the low-grade Dao Origin, like patterns. I'll charge a low-grade Dao Origin and activate the AFK farming space. Ding! A low-grade Dao Origin has been successfully charged. AFK farming space has been successfully activated. Because I only charged a low-grade Dao Origin, the AFK farming space has twice the speed of time. A notification appeared. A door appeared in front of Qi Ming. He walked in and entered the AFK farming space. It was empty and did not know the passage of time. In the blink of an eye, Qi Ming spent 2 days in the AFK farming space and was automatically sent out. He returned to the real world and indeed, only a day had passed. The AFK farming space is indeed very good. Qi Ming was very satisfied. Next, as long as he obtained enough Dao Origin, Qi Ming could activate the AFK farming space and use the ability to accelerate time to increase his cultivation level in a short period of time. Continue. Qi Ming said, I'll charge 100 billion top-grade Immortal crystals and enter the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. Ding! Charging successful. Consciousness division successful. Enter the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. Reincarnation will become Heavenly Venerate glazed. A notification appeared. A game scene appeared in front of Qi Ming. A wisp of consciousness that had been separated entered the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. Just like before, it experienced everything about Heavenly Venerate glazed and comprehended the Dao Fruit Mystery. Of course, basic information about Heavenly Venerate glazed appeared in Qi Ming's mind. First, Heavenly Venerate glazed was the same as Heavenly Venerate Chongyang. They were both born in the 7th upper world, but Heavenly Venerate glazed had lived for 1,000 epochs. His cultivation level had reached the 7th level law Heavenly Venerate, and his Dao fruit had reached rank 7. He was much stronger than Heavenly Venerate Chongyang. Heavenly Venerate glazed had died trying to break through to the rank 8 Dao fruit. He had not been completely prepared and had wanted to reach the 8th level. In the end, the Dao fruit collapsed and everything perished. In the blink of an eye, 1,000 days later. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have experienced 1,000 epochs in the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. 1,000 days have passed in the real world. You have completely passed Heavenly Venerate glazed's life and comprehended everything about him. You have comprehended the Dao Fruit Mystery and cleared the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery once. Reward, 1 Great Dao Fruit Fragment, 2/129,600, and 1,000 low-grade Dao Origin. A notification appeared. Another Great Dao Fruit Fragment. Qi Ming said, not bad. According to this trend, I only need to clear the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery 129,600 times. After experiencing everything about 129,600 Heavenly Venerates, I can obtain enough great Dao fruit fragments. When the time comes, Qi Ming pondered for a moment and said, I can use this to break through and comprehend my great Dao fruit. I can step into the law heavenly Venerate realm and my strength will increase greatly. Also Qi Ming continued, according to the time needed to clear the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery, when an epoch has passed in the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery, an entire day would pass in the real world. In the following period of time, Qi Ming basically stayed in the heavenly court of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty. He cultivated in seclusion in the heavenly court and cleared the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery every day. At the same time, Zhang Taihu was also investigating the heavenly sage domain. In the blink of an eye, 10,000 years later, the Heaven Enlightenment domain and the heavenly sage domain were completely connected. In the Heaven Forbidden Zone, a fixed spatial passageway was established. The two sides interacted and interacted extremely frequently. The Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty established by Qi Ming completely unified the Heaven Enlightenment domain. All the forces and factions in the Heaven Enlightenment domain combined and respected Qi Ming. In the Heavenly Sage domain, the Heavenly Sage Venerable established the Heavenly Sage Alliance and consolidated all the factions in the Heavenly Sage domain to form a huge alliance. He was the Alliance Master of the Heavenly Sage Alliance. Before the Heaven Enlightenment domain and the Heavenly Sage domain established a good relationship, a battle erupted between the two sides 5,000 years ago. The Heaven Enlightenment domain had just experienced the epic calamity and a large number of experts had died. Countless upper world immortal kings had died, much less Zenith Heaven golden immortals, and so on. The Heavenly Sage domain was different. It was at its peak. Under such circumstances, the Heavenly Sage Alliance had probed the background of the Heaven Enlightenment domain many times and even had the intention to attack it. Therefore, several large-scale wars erupted. Finally, Qi Ming directly attacked. He used his powerful strength to suppress all the experts, including Heavenly Sage Venerable. The Heavenly Sage Alliance respected Qi Ming's strength, so they could only stop and did not dare to attack again. In these 10,000 years, Qi Ming had cleared the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery many times and obtained many great Dao fruit fragments. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have experienced 120 epochs in the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery. 120 days have passed in the real world, and you have completely passed the life of the 9 Li Heavenly Venerate. You have comprehended everything about him, comprehended the mysteries of the Dao fruit, and cleared the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery once. Reward: 1 great Dao fruit fragment, 100/129,600, and 1000 low-grade Dao origin. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have experienced 800 epochs in the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery. 800 days have passed in the real world, and you have completely passed the life of the 8 heavenly venerates. You have comprehended everything about the 8 heavenly venerates, comprehended the mysteries of the Dao fruit, and cleared the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery once. Reward: 1 great Dao fruit fragment, 2000/129,600, and 1000 low-grade Dao origin. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have experienced 2000 epochs in the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery. 2000 days have passed in the real world, and you have completely passed the life of the Grand Heavenly Venerate. You have comprehended everything about him, comprehended the Dao fruit mystery, and cleared the special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery once. Reward: 1 great Dao fruit fragment, 7500/129,600, and 1000 low-grade Dao origin. Overall, although the reincarnation experience every time was different and the time to clear it was different, on average, every time he cleared a special dungeon, Dao fruit mystery, it required about 500 days. In 10,000 years, Qi Ming had cleared the dungeon a total of 7,500 times, so he had obtained a total of 7,500 great Dao fruit fragments. He was still very far from 129,600. Chapter 407, Chaos Great Dao Scripture, Dao Fruit Chapter. Because the Heaven Enlightenment domain had Qiming guarding it, the Heavenly Sage Venerable and the others did not dare to be rash. After the Heaven Enlightenment domain and the Heavenly Sage domain officially connected, they set the corresponding heavenly rules. Everything was fine. A million years passed. Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty. Heavenly Court. In the Cultivation Hall. On this day. Ding! Congratulations, host! You have experienced 3,000 epochs in the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. 3,000 days have passed in the real world. You have completely passed the life of the apex Heavenly Venerate and comprehended everything about him. You have comprehended the mysteries of the Dao Fruit and cleared the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery once. Reward, 1 Great Dao Fruit Fragment, 129,600/129,600, and 1000 Low-Grade Dao Origin. A notification appeared. Qiming raised his head slightly and looked at the notification information that popped up in front of him. A smile appeared on his face. Unknowingly, a full million years have passed. 129,600 Great Dao Fruit Fragments have been gathered. I've cleared the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery 129,600 times and experienced 129,600 reincarnations. Now, I've finally obtained what I wanted. Speaking of which, Qiming pondered for a moment. The apex Heavenly Venerate who reincarnated this time can be said to have lived the longest among the 129,600 law Heavenly Venerates. He lived for 3,000 epochs. Most importantly, the apex Heavenly Venerate has the highest cultivation level among all the law Heavenly Venerates and is the strongest. He has reached the limit of the 9th level law Heavenly Venerate. His Dao Fruit reached rank 9 and attained complete perfection. Not only that, the apex Heavenly Venerate also vaguely comprehended the realm of the rule Heavenly Venerate. He was very powerful. Back then, the apex Heavenly Venerate offended the Eternal Supreme Venerate of the second upper world, the Buddha world. He was directly obliterated by that Eternal Supreme Venerate with supreme power and completely died. Otherwise, there was a high chance that the apex Heavenly Venerate would break through to the rule Heavenly Venerate realm. With the thought, Qiming opened his inventory. What greeted his eyes were a total of 129,600 Great Dao Fruit Fragments and 129,599,999 Low-Grade Dao Origin. Ha ha ha! Qiming laughed loudly and was in a very good mood. In a million years, I've cleared so many special dungeons, Dao Fruit Mystery. I've gathered all the Great Dao Fruit Fragments and obtained so many Low-Grade Dao Origin. Ding! The Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao Rune has comprehended for more than a million years under the enhancement of a quintillion times. The Chaos Great Dao Scripture has also been deduced more than a million years under the enhancement of a quintillion times. Congratulations, host! You have completely comprehended the core true intent of the Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao Rune and deduced the cultivation method of the Chaos Great Dao Scripture, Dao Fruit Chapter. Immediately after, another notification appeared. This is... Qiming was surprised and delighted. I've already completely comprehended the Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao Rune. Moreover, I've created the Chaos Great Dao Scripture, Dao Fruit Chapter. This way, I have a high chance of stepping into the Venerate realm. Before this, my chance of success was only about 60%. Now, it's at least 80 to 90%. Qiming sat cross-legged as various comprehensions surged into his mind. In the depths of his body, the Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao Rune appeared. At this moment, the Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao Rune transformed into countless streaks of light. They contained the Great Dao true intent and flowed continuously, completely comprehended by Qiming. Qiming used his comprehension of the Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao Rune to comprehend the omnipresent Heaven and Earth Great Dao. His comprehension of the heaven and earth great Dao broke through to the limit of the perfected micro-sense realm. At the same time, Qi Ming's cultivation level had also reached the limit of the late-stage Immortal King realm. It had already reached the limit. It could not increase at all. If he wanted to continue breaking through, Qi Ming had to step into the Venerate realm. Immediately after, Qi Ming also knew the true origin of the Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao rune. In the distant Chaos era of the ninth upper world, according to time, it was unknown how many epochs there were. It was already difficult to estimate. At that time, the ninth upper world was filled with endless chaos. In the chaos, there were chaos demon gods nurtured. They were extremely powerful, and the weakest was a law heavenly Venerate. The powerful chaos demon gods had already reached the eternal supreme Venerate realm. There were 3,000 supreme Venerate demon gods, and the first was the Chaos Supreme Venerate. This existence had already reached the limit of the ninth level Eternal Supreme Venerate realm. The Chaos Supreme Venerate wanted to take another step forward and break through the upper world Heavenly Dao. He wanted to comprehend the Great Dao of heaven and earth and evolve the Chaos Great Dao to enter the final land. Unfortunately, this Chaos Supreme Venerate failed. At the last moment, the other 2,999 Supreme Venerate demon gods surrounded him when he was about to succeed. That battle almost shattered the ninth upper world. The chaos was about to be destroyed. It was also that battle that evolved into worlds in the chaos of the ninth upper world. Finally, the Chaos Supreme Venerates of the ninth upper world died, and countless of the other 2,999 Supreme Venerate demon gods died. Almost all of them died. The Chaos era of the ninth upper world ended and entered a new era. The reason why the Chaos Supreme Venerate was surrounded by the other 2,999 Supreme Venerate demon gods was mainly because of the Heavenly Dao of the ninth upper world. Clearly, the Heavenly Dao of the ninth upper world did not allow the Chaos Supreme Venerate to succeed. The Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao rune came from this Chaos Supreme Venerate. After he died, his Chaos Dao fruit shattered and turned into 129,600 streaks of light that flew in all directions. They even passed through the barrier of the world and landed in the entire void universe sea. Among these 129,600 streaks of light, some had become supreme treasures, some had evolved into worlds in the void universe sea, some had become divine power jade slips, and some had even transformed into intelligence. The Chaos Heaven and Earth Great Dao rune Qi Ming obtained was one of the 129,600 streaks of light that contained the Dao fruit mysteries of the Chaos Supreme Venerate. Chaos Supreme Venerate, Ninth Upper World. Qi Ming pondered for a moment and muttered, "I didn't expect the Chaos-colored Heaven and Earth Great Dao rune to have such an ancient and mysterious origin. It's actually related to an Eternal Supreme Venerate." In the blink of an eye, half a month later, Qi Ming adjusted his state and had already reached the peak. He had also completely grasped the Chaos Great Dao scripture, Dao Fruit chapter, but he did not comprehend the true intent within. Otherwise, it was enough for Qi Ming to break through to the Venerate realm. The inventory opened. "I'll charge 129,599,999 low-grade Dao origin," Qi Ming said. "Activate the AFK farming space." Ding! Charging successful. AFK farming space has been successfully activated. Because you charged 129,599,999 low-grade Dao origin, the time flow of the AFK farming space is 129,599,999 times that of the outside world. A notification appeared. The next moment, in front of Qi Ming, space distorted, and a vortex-shaped pitch-black door appeared. Qi Ming took a deep breath and calmed his mood before entering the AFK farming space. In the AFK farming space, everything around him was empty, and he could not sense the passage of time at all. "I'll charge 100 million top-grade immortal crystals and practice the Chaos Great Dao scripture, Dao Fruit chapter." Ding! Cultivating the Chaos Great Dao scripture, Dao Fruit chapter under the enhancement of a quintillion times. A notification appeared. Qi Ming entered a state of AFK farming cultivation. He cultivated the Chaos Great Dao Scripture, Dao Fruit chapter every moment and comprehended the mysteries within. Qi Ming opened his inventory. With a thought, all the Great Dao Fruit fragments appeared. They were like dazzling stars that floated around Qi Ming. There were a total of 129,600. Great Dao Fruit fragments were like dazzling balls of light that contained profound mysteries of the Dao Fruit. Next, Qi Ming needed to comprehend these Great Dao Fruit fragments one by one and comprehend the mysteries within before he could fuse all 129,600. Otherwise, forcefully fusing with it would only fail. If he failed, Qi Ming had to continue clearing the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery. I'll charge 100 million top-grade Immortal crystals and practice comprehending the Great Dao Fruit Fragment. Ding! Comprehending the Great Dao Fruit Fragment under the enhancement of a quintillion times. A notification appeared. A Great Dao Fruit Fragment landed and flickered with light. It fused into Qi Ming's body from the center of his brows and comprehended the profundity. The first Great Dao Fruit Fragment that Qi Ming comprehended was related to Heavenly Venerate Chongyang. He comprehended the mysteries within and some Dao Fruit mysteries. Not long after, Qi Ming comprehended the first Great Dao Fruit Fragment. Immediately after, it was the second, third, fourth, the 1,000th, the 3,000th, the 10,000th. As time passed, Qi Ming consumed a large number of top-grade Immortal crystals and constantly comprehended the Great Dao Fruit fragments to fuse them. Not long after, behind Qi Ming, a vast ball of light appeared. This ball of light was chaotic, but it was suffused with dense primordial purple light. It flickered with the Great Dao Rune True Intent evolved from the Heaven and Earth Great Dao. It was extremely dazzling. At the same time, Qi Ming was also circulating the Chaos Great Dao Scripture, Dao Fruit chapter. Unknowingly, he entered an extremely profound and mysterious state. In this state, Qi Ming began to officially use various extremely precious resources and energy to gradually cultivate his Dao Fruit. Chapter 408, Breakthrough. First Level Law Heavenly Venerate. Primordial Dao Fruit. Unknowingly, Qi Ming had already passed 100 million days in the AFK farming space. He had comprehended all 129,600 Great Dao Fruit fragments. In the depths of his body, all the Great Dao Fruit fragments were slowly fusing. At this moment, the Great Dao Fruit fused. 100 million days was nearly 300,000 years. Great Dao Fruit. With a thought, Qi Ming had already used the Great Dao Fruit to comprehend the true mysteries of the Dao Fruit. The Chaos Great Dao Scripture, Dao Fruit chapter circulated. Dao Fruit, as the name implied, was the Dao attainment realm of a Dao cultivator. If he could not successfully condense the Dao Fruit, he would lose the merit he had obtained from cultivating it. He would also lose the Dao attainment he had obtained after years of meditation. Condensing a Dao Fruit was hugely dangerous. If he could not succeed, his Dao attainment would dissipate, and he might even die on the spot. For example, back in the special dungeon, Dao Fruit Mystery, Qi Ming had experienced a reincarnation. A wisp of his consciousness had reincarnated into Heavenly Venerate Glazed. Heavenly Venerate Glazed had failed at the rank 8 Dao Fruit, causing it to collapse, die, and be obliterated. In addition, if he wanted to condense the Dao Fruit, he had to understand the mysteries of the Dao Fruit. He had to have enough cultivation to escape his 7 emotions and 6 desires. He could not be controlled by the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Instead, he had to control the 7 emotions and 6 desires to obtain freedom. For example, in the past, there was a person who was poor and owed others a lot. He could not repay them, so he fled to avoid debt. He ran to an empty place and accidentally picked up a box there. It was even filled with treasures. There was also a mirror placed on the treasures to hide them. When this poor person saw this treasure chest, he was abnormally happy. He immediately opened it and saw a person in the mirror. He was immediately shocked and afraid. He hurriedly cupped his hands and said, "I thought it was an empty chest. There was nothing inside, but I didn't know that you were in this chest. Don't be angry. All kinds of living beings in the world, including joy, anger, sadness, and joy, would be affected by their emotions and make the wrong decision. For example, to the poor person in the story, he had fled to avoid debt but had profited from a disaster and picked up a priceless treasure. This was a good thing, but he actually did not even recognize himself in the mirror. This was because suddenly obtaining a large number of treasures had blinded him, causing him to lose himself and his nature. Therefore, the treasures that he was about to obtain could not be obtained in the end. Great joy and great sadness would easily lead one to become a demon. Some people in the world were also like this. They were often confused by some things. In the end, they would lose sight of themselves and lose money as well. When the Dao fruit condensed, one could control their emotions and not be controlled by them. They would reach a realm where they did not feel joy or sadness. This was the true realm of being heartless. Heartless was not cruelty. Instead, it was to completely control one's emotions. In addition, when the Dao fruit condensed, the various Dao attainment, divine powers, dharmic powers, and everything else he cultivated in the past would condense into a Dao fruit and undergo extreme sublimation. His dharmic powers would transform into Dao power. For example, the heaven and earth calamity. In the heavens and the earth, the heavenly Dao circulated. Positive karma and negative karma, good and evil merit, and it nurtured the heaven and earth tribulation chi. Every time the tribulation erupted, the heaven and earth tribulation chi would fill the heavens and the earth and surpass a certain threshold, causing the living beings of the heavens and the earth to be affected by the heaven and earth tribulation chi, causing their emotions to be chaotic and extremely easy to be furious. They were easily able to make various wrong decisions, and then they would be reduced to ashes under the tribulation and completely vanish. The source of all worlds, the root of all things, the beginning of everything, the origin of the great Dao, the primordial chaos. Qi Ming muttered. Primordial purple light blossomed around his body. It was incomparably dazzling. The power of the heaven and earth great Dao surrounded his entire body. Endless power blossomed from chaos green lotuses that evolved into the past, present, and future. In the primordial chaos, space, time, life, and reincarnation were displayed. He sat above the primordial chaos and suppressed everything. Immediately, in all directions, countless streaks of light surged towards Qi Ming and gathered in his body. They condensed the primordial Dao fruit. All kinds of comprehension surged into his mind as he comprehended heaven and earth, the myriad worlds, and various profundities. At this moment, Qi Ming comprehended the origin of everything, the beginning of everything, the mysteries, the source of everything. The primordial light blossomed on Qi Ming's body. Everything fused into the primordial Dao fruit. Qi Ming had already truly condensed his primordial Dao fruit. He had absorbed the power of the great Dao Immortal King's heart, absorbed the great Dao fruit, and fused with the true intent of the Chaos Great Dao Scripture, Dao Fruit Chapter. At the same time, the primordial Dao fruit also combined with the primordial true intent that Qi Ming had comprehended. At this moment, Qi Ming's comprehension of the heaven and earth great Dao had already broken through to the perfected microsense realm and reached an even higher realm. This realm was called Rank 1 Dao Heart. From this, it was obvious the Dao Heart could be a Dao fruit, but the Dao fruit might not be able to become a Dao Heart. At this moment, the primordial Dao fruit had already condensed. Although it was still very illusory, it was real and existed in Qi Ming's body. The external manifestation was a circular ball of light that flickered with primordial purple light. The primordial Dao fruit was only in the rank 1 Dao fruit realm. Boom! 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 Qi Ming's cultivation level began to break through. His aura rose rapidly and easily broke through the limit of the upper world Immortal King. He broke through the limit of the immortal realm and stepped into an even higher realm. This realm was Venerate realm. He was called the Law Heavenly Venerate. Not only that, in Qi Ming's body, with the primordial Dao fruit as the source, primordial Dao power that flickered with the primordial purple light was gradually born. It slowly flowed and circulated throughout his entire body. There were a total of 129,600 nodes, forming an extremely perfect cycle. At the same time, Qi Ming's body, soul, true spirit, and consciousness gradually transformed unprecedentedly under the influence of the primordial Dao fruit. Time passed. When Qi Ming spent 25,999,999 days in the AFK farming space, he finally completed all his transformations. Of course, he also consolidated his cultivation and strength after breaking through. Qi Ming had broken through to the first level Law Heavenly Venerate realm. He succeeded. Ding! 125,999,999 low-grade Dao origin has been consumed. You have passed a total of 125,999,999 days in the AFK farming space. AFK farming space is closed. A notification appeared. Qi Ming felt the change in space. An irresistible force came from the surrounding space and he could not help but be teleported out of the AFK farming space. He returned to the real world. Qi Ming was already at the first level Law Heavenly Venerate realm. After condensing the primordial Dao fruit, he was actually unable to resist the irresistible force and was teleported out of the AFK farming space. From this, it was obvious the power of the AFK farming software was inestimable. Its background was unknown. This. With a thought, Qi Ming calculated with his fingers and pondered for a moment. After staying in the AFK farming space for so long, only a day has passed in the real world. What a terrifying ability! Qi Ming praised. At the same time, not long after Qi Ming came out of the AFK farming space, he had condensed the primordial Dao fruit and became a Law Heavenly Venerate, stepping into the Venerate realm. The upper world Heavenly Dao immediately sensed it. Heaven and earth phenomena were born. In the endless void of the Heaven Enlightenment domain, dense primordial purple light gradually surged. It was incomparably dazzling, as if purple qi came from the east for 300,000 miles. This phenomenon enveloped the entire Eastern Victory Divine Province as soon as it appeared. Moreover, with Qi Ming's Eastern Victory Divine Province as the center, it constantly spread out. Not long after, it enveloped the entire Heaven Enlightenment domain. This is. What happened? Oh goodness! This aura! This phenomenon! This power! Law Heavenly Venerate! This is the birth of a Law Heavenly Venerate! Gasp! That position! It's His Majesty, the Heavenly Emperor. His Majesty must have attained the Dao fruit and stepped into the Law Heavenly Venerate realm. That's why this phenomenon occurred. Your Majesty! The rulers of the various provinces, the immortal officials, the upper world immortal kings, the zenith heaven golden immortals, and the living beings of all living beings looked up at the sky and bowed in Qi Ming's direction. They were kowtowing towards the existence they revered. The phenomenon had only just begun. In the primordial purple light, a total of 129,636th grade Chaos Green Lotuses were born. Every 36th grade Chaos Green Lotus seemed to nurture a Chaos Demon God. At the same time, in the center of the phenomenon, a supreme figure appeared. It revealed the Heavenly Venerate Dharma idol and was enveloped in the light of the Heaven and Earth Great Dao. It was Qi Ming's appearance. Qi Ming presided over the primordial world and suppressed everything. The source of all worlds, the root of all things, the beginning of everything, the origin of the Great Dao, the primordial chaos. The next moment, Qi Ming's voice transformed into a Dao voice that resounded in the world and entered the ears of all living beings. It entered the depths of their souls and everyone heard this. This was Qi Ming's Dao validation truth. Chapter 409, Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate, Fusion of the Two Domains, Dao Origin Mine, Chaos Demon God. This. Your Majesty. Primordial. 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 At this moment, because the many living beings in the Heaven Enlightenment domain heard Qi Ming's Dao validation truth and comprehended the Dao of heaven and earth, those with extremely high talent even entered a state of enlightenment. In the Heaven Enlightenment domain, many living beings broke through on the spot. Junior brother. Qing Feiyun had long walked out of the palace he was in. He sensed a majestic aura and raised his head to look at Qi Ming standing in the sky. His eyes were filled with shock, amazement, and reverence for Qi Ming. His heart was even filled with envy. Qing Feiyun took a deep breath. If I remember correctly, it's only been 1,000,000 years since the last epic calamity ended. I didn't expect this. Junior brother Qi Ming. No. It should be said that His Majesty, the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor, broke through continuously. Not only did he break through from the early stage Upper World Immortal King Realm to the late stage Upper World Immortal King Realm. Now, he even attained the Dao fruit and broke through the limit of the Immortal Realm to step into the Venerate Realm and become a Law Heavenly Venerate. This breakthrough speed is too fast, it's simply unbelievable. Congratulations, Master! You have attained the Dao fruit, the great Dao of primordial chaos. May the Heavenly Venerate reign for eternity. Congratulations, Master! You have attained the Dao fruit, the great Dao of primordial chaos. May the Heavenly Venerate reign for eternity. Immediately after, the world's freedom Buddha and the others appeared and bowed. They shouted respectfully. Qi Ming closed his eyes tightly. He was comprehending his Dao power and comprehending everything in the world. His senses and thoughts had already broken through the range of the Heaven Enlightenment domain and spread in all directions. Unknowingly, Qi Ming knew everything about the first upper world. In his senses, outside the Heaven Enlightenment domain, it was a hazy chaos. In the chaos, in the depths of the first upper world, there were chaos demon gods comparable to Law Heavenly Venerates and even Rule Heavenly Venerates. Qi Ming could already leave the Heaven Enlightenment domain and enter the chaos. He could travel in the chaos. For cultivation in the Venerate realm, absorbing the upper world immortal Qi was already useless. One had to receive the chaos Qi into the body or absorb the Dao origin nurtured in the chaos. At this moment, Qi Ming understood. Those below the Venerate realm were only at the initial stage in the upper world. Immortal realm existences could basically only move in a small area. After stepping into the Venerate realm, they would truly be free and unfettered. They could travel the upper world and roam the chaos. Before Qi Ming stepped into the Venerate realm, he could basically only stay in the Heaven Enlightenment domain. It was not easy to leave the Heaven Enlightenment domain to travel the upper world. He could not stay in the chaos for too long. Immediately after, the scene changed again. The phenomenon of Qi Ming breaking through to the first level Law Heavenly Venerate realm had even broken through the range of the Heaven Enlightenment domain. He followed the spatial passageway between the Heaven Enlightenment domain and the Heavenly Sage domain and gradually affected it. In the Heavenly Sage domain, the primordial purple light was like evening light as it quickly spread and gradually spread. It affected more than half of the Heavenly Sage domain, attracting the attention of countless living beings in the Heavenly Sage domain. This is... what a terrifying phenomenon! No. No. This is not a phenomenon in the Heavenly Sage domain. Heaven Enlightenment domain. This is a phenomenon from the Heaven Enlightenment domain. Oh God! How terrifying is this? How earth-shattering is this? It can actually break through the limit of the Heaven Enlightenment domain and affect our Heavenly Sage domain. It's really too terrifying. Gasp! In the Heavenly Sage domain, countless living beings were shocked. It's him. The Heavenly Sage Venerable took a step forward and sensed the aura contained in the phenomenon. He was very familiar with it, Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. It's him. Gasp! He actually... The Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor has actually already attained the Dao fruit and become a Law Heavenly Venerate. How long has it been? Too shocking. Moreover, such a phenomenon actually affected our heavenly sage domain. This. The upper world immortal kings of the heavenly sage domain looked at the phenomenon in the sky and were extremely shocked. They exclaimed with unbelievable expressions. The next moment, Qi Ming's Dao validation truth also reached the heavenly sage domain. This heavenly sage venerable was stunned. He opened his mouth and his face was filled with reverence. Is this the Dao validation truth of the heaven enlightenment immortal emperor? The source of all worlds, the root of all things, the beginning of everything, the origin of the great Dao, the primordial chaos. Gulp. As expected of the heaven enlightenment immortal emperor. The upper world immortal kings of the heavenly sage domain exclaimed. Gradually, after the phenomenon spread to the limit, it affected the heaven enlightenment domain and the heavenly sage domain. Only then did it slowly converge. All kinds of phenomena and dignity slowly disappeared. Suddenly, at this moment, something unexpected happened. The source of all worlds? The root of all things? The beginning of everything? The origin of the great Dao? Ha ha ha, ridiculous, what a great primordial chaos! What a great origin of the great Dao! What arrogance! Suddenly, a voice crossed layers of obstructions and sounded from the chaos outside the heaven enlightenment domain and the heavenly sage domain. A golden stream of light stepped into the heavenly sage domain. Immediately after, a golden heavenly sword appeared. On the body of the sword were countless golden sword chi and sword lights. Countless lights flickered. Countless golden sword chi and sword lights constantly evolved, and the scene of everything in the world appeared. Sword chi transformed into dragons, tigers, mountains, rivers, laws, rules, heavenly Dao, and everything in the world. Such a sword Dao phenomenon had reached the limit. This was the power of the law heavenly Venerate realm. Qi Ming's primordial chaos phenomenon resisted this sudden sword Dao phenomenon. The two places, heaven enlightenment domain and heavenly sage domain, shook. Space shook, the world shook, and chaotic Qi descended. Greetings, heavenly sage sword Venerate. We welcome heavenly sage sword Venerate. The next moment, in the heavenly sage alliance, with heavenly sage venerable as the leader, all the surrounding upper world immortal kings, zenith heaven golden immortals, and immortals bowed to the golden figure that had suddenly appeared. Their voices were extremely respectful. The golden figure who had broken through from the chaos and entered the heavenly sage domain was the heavenly sage sword Venerate who had obtained the Dao fruit in the heavenly sage domain. Greetings, Master. Heavenly sage venerable bowed and said respectfully, Master, you're back. Heavenly sage sword Venerate glanced at the heavenly sage venerable and said indifferently, after so many years, your cultivation hasn't improved at all. After the last epic calamity, you were unable to use the epic calamity to condense the Dao validation Dao fruit. You really disappoint me. I'm slow-witted. Master, please punish me. Heavenly Sage Venerable said in fear. Forget it. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate waved his hand and said, the Heavenly Sage Domain suddenly contacted the other Heaven Enlightenment Domain. It even formed a spatial passageway and showed signs of fusing. If I remember correctly, after the two realms fuse, there will definitely be a Dao origin mine nurtured. When every Dao origin mine is nurtured, there will be chaos demon gods accompanying it. This time, I return to control the Heaven Enlightenment Domain and the Heavenly Sage Domain. I didn't expect this. I've just returned. A law Heavenly Venerate has actually been born in the Heaven Enlightenment Domain. Moreover, his Dao validation truth is so arrogant. He has only just become the first level law Heavenly Venerate and wants to pry into the great Dao. He simply doesn't know his place. Primordial chaos. Ridiculous. I've never heard of it. At this moment, Qi Ming's primordial chaos phenomenon completely converged, and the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's Sword Dao phenomenon also disappeared. The Heaven Enlightenment Domain and the Heavenly Sage Domain seemed to have returned to normal. But in fact, Qi Ming had already sensed that a Law Heavenly Venerate had arrived in the Heavenly Sage domain. He heard Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's mocking words. The Heavenly Sage Venerable quickly introduced Qi Ming's situation to Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate. The Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor is very strong. When he was at the upper world Immortal King realm, he suppressed the entire Heavenly Sage Alliance by himself. Now, he actually became a Law Heavenly Venerate. His strength must have increased greatly. Don't worry. The Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate waved his hand. No matter how powerful he is, he has only just broken through to the first level of the Law Heavenly Venerate realm. His Dao fruit is only at rank 1, and I'm already at rank 2. I'm about to reach the rank 3 Dao fruit realm. It's easy to deal with him. When the time comes, I'll preside over the Heavenly Sage domain and speed up the fusion of the Heavenly Sage domain and the Heaven Enlightenment domain until the Dao origin mine is nurtured. At that time, I can even kill a Chaos Demon God. Master's strength is extraordinary. With Master personally taking action, it will definitely be easy. It's naturally easy to deal with the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. Heavenly Sage Venerable immediately praised. Ha ha ha! Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate laughed. He took a step forward and transformed into a golden sword light. In an instant, he left the Heavenly Sage domain and entered the Heaven Enlightenment domain, locking onto Qi Ming's aura. With a thought, Qi Ming had already sensed it. He clasped his hands behind his back and looked ahead. He clearly saw a golden sword light tear through the air. In the blink of an eye, the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate had already arrived in front of Qi Ming. A guest has arrived. Qi Ming said indifferently, however, this guest is not here to be a guest. You're the Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor. The Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's gaze was indifferent as he looked down at Qi Ming. After confirming that he was at the first level Law Heavenly Venerate realm, he was completely relieved. It's me. Qi Ming replied. Very good. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate said, seeing that your cultivation is not easy, I'll give you a chance to live. Quickly leave the Heaven Enlightenment domain. From today onwards, the Heaven Enlightenment domain and the Heavenly Sage domain are both my Dao fields. Otherwise, under my Heavenly Sword, I can slay your Dao fruit. Chapter 410, Intrinsic Dao Treasure. Qi Ming and the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate faced each other. The aura Qi Ming revealed was as unfathomable as the universe and as deep as the starry sky. It was endless and surged out. At the same time, the aura of the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate was like a sword that had been completely unsheathed. It had reached the limit of a sword Dao. A blade of grass could slash apart the sun, moon, and stars, and a wisp of sword light could transform into supreme sword Qi. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's aura was sharp to the limit. It was extremely domineering and unyielding. The invisible auras collided and actually produced waves of rumbling, causing the surrounding space to tremble and ripple like water. This. So powerful. The other party can actually fight His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor head-on. Who is the other party? What background does he have? In the surroundings, the immortals present could not help but exclaim. Ha ha ha! After Qi Ming heard Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's words, he roared with laughter. His gaze was slightly cold. You want to cut off my Dao fruit? How laughable! Heaven Enlightenment Immortal Emperor, you transcended the epic calamity more than 1,000,000 years ago and obtained the Dao Validation Dao fruit. You used 1,000,000 years to absorb the Dao Validation Dao fruit before stepping into the Venerate realm and condensing your Dao fruit to become a Law Heavenly Venerate. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate said indifferently, I've long attained my Dao fruit 10 epochs ago and become a Law Heavenly Venerate. In an entire 10 epochs, I've traveled the first upper world, fought in the chaos, and comprehended the upper world's heavenly Dao. Now, I've already reached the rank 2 Dao fruit realm and am about to reach rank 3. I've reached the limit of the second level Law Heavenly Venerate realm. You've only just broken through to the first level Law Heavenly Venerate realm. I'll slay your Dao fruit as if it's trash. Accompanied by a sword cry, Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate opened his mouth and spat out. A golden sword light rushed out of his mouth and transformed into a golden dragon-headed sword. This was the intrinsic Dao treasure refined by the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate said Qi Ming's true name, Qi Ming, there's not much time left for you. Make your choice. Do you want to leave this place immediately and live, or stay and seek your own death? Make your choice. The scene was silent. Only the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's voice resounded in the surroundings and entered the ears of all the living beings present, causing many immortal officials of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty to be furious. Too arrogant. You actually dare to be so disrespectful to the Heavenly Emperor. You're courting death. In the surroundings, in the heavenly court of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty, upper world immortal kings immediately rushed out. There were even golden armor deities, heaven suppression great generals, and heavenly soldiers who formed the heavenly court army. 9 Song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array. Without any hesitation, the heavenly court army quickly formed a vast heaven and earth array under the joint lead of the world's freedom Buddha, Fang Ru, and the others, enveloping Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate. This is 9 Song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array. Good. The immortals shouted. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's expression was calm, and his tone was a little surprised. This array is not bad. It contains the Dao runes of heaven and earth and is indeed very powerful. Unfortunately, this array formation can't injure me. The 9 Song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array evolved. Vast black-yellow chi surged out and transformed into 9 lifelike black-yellow true dragons. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws as they roared. The array was completed and set up. At the same time, in the array, there was another cold wind that assaulted the people. Black fog spread and bewitched the sun and moon. It was long and drawn out, and there was no sign of it. A miserable aura shot into the sky, and darkness covered the heavens and the earth. One's soul would be obliterated, and no matter how high one's cultivation was for thousands of years, it would instantly become useless. One would lose their spirit and vitality, and even if one escaped calamity, it would be extremely difficult. No matter who entered the array, it would cut off the top 3 flowers and slashed off the 5 chi in his chest. The foundation of the immortal god would be destroyed. In an instant, he would fall from a high and mighty immortal god to a mortal. Attack! The world's freedom Buddha and Fang Ru shouted. The 9 Song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array circulated to the limit. All the power fused together and condensed into a 9-clawed black dragon that pounced at Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate. First move of the Heavenly Sage Sword Dao. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate was already at the 2nd level Law Heavenly Venerate realm. His Dao fruit was at the 2nd stage and had long cultivated his own divine power Dao technique. His right hand held the hilt and directly slashed out. When this sword slashed out, an indescribable golden sword chi descended from the sky, as if it wanted to tear apart the heavens and the earth and slash down all the stars in the universe, as if space and time were severed. This strike was extremely powerful. Bang! The 9-clawed black-yellow true dragon was destroyed by this sword. Even the 9 Song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array formed by the world's freedom Buddha and Fang Ru could not block the sword of the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate. There was a loud sound. The 9-clawed black-yellow true dragon was destroyed, and the 9 Song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array was broken. All kinds of screams sounded. The heavenly troops of the heavenly court army spat out blood and were sent flying. All of them were injured, and the world's freedom Buddha and Fang Ru were also heavily injured. This. One strike. Just one strike. The 9 Song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array can't even block the other party's sword. Gasp. Too strong, too strong. Is this the power of Allah Heavenly Venerate? It's simply crushing. His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor has already attained the Dao fruit and also stepped into the Venerate realm to become Allah Heavenly Venerate. His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor is only at the 1st level Law Heavenly Venerate, but the other party is indeed at the second level law heavenly Venerate. His cultivation level is one level higher than His Majesty the Heavenly Emperor. Can His Majesty win this battle? The immortal officials of the Heaven Enlightenment Emperor Dynasty discussed animatedly. Their faces were filled with shock, and their hearts were even more shocked. Fear spread. The Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate attacked. He only slashed down with his sword and defeated the 9-song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array. He displayed extremely powerful strength and indeed awed many immortals. In the epic calamity, Qing Feiyun and the others had set up the 9-song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array many times in the battles. They had reversed the situation and become famous. Many upper world immortal kings knew how powerful the 9-song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array was. But now, such a powerful 9-song Yellow River Heaven Ascension Array was actually broken by the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate with a single strike. This strength and method were indeed very terrifying, surpassing their expectations. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate smiled disdainfully and said indifferently, "Is this your method? If it is, I'm too disappointed." "Don't worry." Qi Ming replied, "How can I disappoint you?" He attacked. With a wave of his right hand, 3 intrinsic immortal treasures had already rushed out of Qi Ming's body. They were the Chaos Great Dao Sword Lotus, the Chaos World Piercing Sword, and the Chaos Buzhu Mountain. Qi Ming had just broken through to the Law Heavenly Venerate realm and had yet to refine his intrinsic immortal treasures. Therefore, the 3 intrinsic immortal treasures were only at the level of breaking through the upper world Immortal King artifact. When he broke through, the 3 intrinsic immortal treasures had also absorbed the Dao power and the primordial Dao fruit. Although they had not completely transformed into intrinsic Dao treasures, their power had increased greatly. Qi Ming cultivated the great Dao. The 3 intrinsic immortal treasures had absorbed the power of the heaven and earth great Dao. Even if they had not completed the transformation, they were still not weaker than the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's intrinsic Dao treasure. "You've indeed just broken through." Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate saw the intrinsic immortal treasure summoned by Qi Ming and could not help but be stunned. Then, he smiled even more disdainfully and revealed a mocking expression, "Ridiculous, laughable. Your intrinsic immortal treasure actually hasn't completed the refinement and transformation. It's only a top-grade upper world Immortal King artifact. How laughable. I really thought too highly of you." Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate raised his hands. Light rushed out of his body, and every light condensed into a sword beside him. Every sword was different and had their own characteristics. There were a total of 9 swords. Every sword was refined to the level of a high-grade postnatal Heavenly Dao treasure by the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate. They contained extremely powerful strength. The Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate was very arrogant on the surface and was extremely confident in his strength. He did not take Qi Ming seriously at all and completely looked down on him. But in fact, when attacking, Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate first summoned his intrinsic Dao treasure and directly summoned all his Heavenly Dao treasures. A lion would use its full strength to capture a rabbit. This sword in my hand is my intrinsic Dao treasure. It's called the Heavenly Sage Dao Sword. It has been refined for a total of 12 epochs. Now, it has already reached the limit of the postnatal Heavenly Dao treasure. Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate said word by word, coupled with the other 9 Dao swords, when it erupts at full strength, it can be comparable to a connate Heavenly Dao treasure. How can you block it? Clang! This was a sword cry that resounded through the entire Heaven Enlightenment domain and the Heavenly Sage domain. Heavenly Sage Venerable and the other upper world immortal kings rushed to the Heaven Enlightenment domain. They looked at Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate. Second move of the Heavenly Sage Sword Dao. The Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's gaze was cold and filled with killing intent. He slowly raised the Heavenly Sage Dao sword in his hand and slashed down again, locking onto Qi Ming, Destruction Sword Lotus. Clang! 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 Different sword cries sounded. Countless sword chi erupted. They were completely dazzling golden in color. They gathered again and formed 24th grade Destruction Sword Lotuses. Finally, the sword slashed out by the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate completely transformed into a huge Destruction Sword Lotus. It contained endless destructive power and the extreme power of the Sword Dao. Go! Qi Ming waved his right hand, and vast Dao power surged out of his body and poured into the Chaos Great Dao Sword Lotus, stimulating its power. The Sword Lotus tore through the air and slowly revolved, blooming with countless Chaos Sword Qi. On a closer look, the Chaos Great Dao Sword Lotus had a total of 36 grades, which was an entire 12 grades higher than the Heavenly Sage Sword Venerate's Destruction Sword Lotus.